So the eyes are compared to the whole head. That's an easy miss. A lot of times when I'm teaching people, I find that they have a tendency, they want to put the eyes up in here someplace. Well, wow, when I look here to there and then break this down and then from this point to there, it's just a matter of the breaking it down into the simplest, most abstract shapes possible.
You hit the jackpot today. The great Dan Gerhartz is with us live. Hey, Dan.
Hey, Eric.
Welcome.
Not sure about that introduction, but thank you.
Oh, thank you. I'm so honored to have you here, and it's nice to reconnect and to see you. We were chatting a little bit about our lives in coronavirus times before all this happened. So, or since this all happened. So Dan, what are you going to do today? What are you going to show us?
I am going to be doing a drawing of our daughter, Sion. And let me just give you a quick glimpse of this beautiful little lady here.
Hi, Sion.
Say hello, Sion.
Hi.
Wave your hands. Say hi to everybody. Sion, there are people watching you from all over the world. All over the world. And maybe thousands and thousands of them. Okay? No pressure, huh?
Sion is as beautiful inside as she is out. She's an absolute.
And she is so chill. She's like, that's okay. I don't mind thousands of people watching me.
She's used to it.
Yeah. Okay. And then would you be willing also today, before we wrap up, give us a little studio tour, maybe towards the end?
Be happy to.
Yeah, because it looks like a really terrific studio. I've never seen it in person, so I'm looking forward to it. All right, so I'm going to drop you out for a second. I'll make a couple of announcements, and we'll be right back. And you can get your camera set up, and we'll be ready to roll. So Dan, I'm going to go ahead and put you on camera and let you get started. All right.
Sounds great. Hey, folks, I am excited to share with you today. I shared with you Sion. Sion has modeled for me quite a bit this last year. It's been great to work with her. She's got such a beautiful spirit, and to try to capture that in various mediums, in various subjects. So today we're going to do a charcoal drawing. I am going to be speaking on certainly, all the aspects of drawing, but really kind of honing in on edges. I just spent the last several months developing a course specifically on edges, and I'm really excited to share that with you guys as well. But today we're going to work with Sion, and I am going to just begin. Also, what I will be presenting to you at Realism Live touches on all the aspects of painting and pretty much everything that I deal with, my thought process. So I hope you can join me there as well. So let's get started. I am just using various hardnesses of the Nitram charcoal. I've got a kneaded eraser. This is just a piece of Canson 100% acid-free paper, a little piece of Conti white that I may use to heighten some areas if I get to that. But in the meantime, let's get started. All right, Sion, where are we here? That's great. One thing working with a live model, you have to make sure in setting up the pose, I don't start unless I feel that trigger in my soul, where you're moving the model around, you're looking at it from different angles, whether it be a still life or a landscape or a painting, all of it's the same. So wait until you see that rhythm. It could be a contrast of edge, a razor sharp edge against a really soft edge.
Maybe what you could do is shift your camera just a little so we can see while you're posing her.
That's a great idea, Eric. Okay, here we go. So Sion, take your pose there, sweetie. Okay, so yeah, so what I love about what I'm seeing on Sion here is right now her eye socket creates this beautiful soft transition against this razor sharp edge here. I absolutely love just the simple line of her head. That compared to that is this upside down teardrop that's just gorgeous. And what I was trying to say earlier is allow yourself to be completely blown away by the beauty, and then let that carry the process. Personally, I know that somebody created this, and I lift my hands or my heart, or I say thank you. It's something to acknowledge that this is not of me, that it is a gift, and that we are stewards to share it. And what a responsibility, what a privilege. So all that is, a good place to start. So let's get rolling here. So I've got Sion on camera. You can see the drawing. I think if Eric could let me know if I need to change anything, I appreciate the heads up before. So, okay, Sion, spin your head my way just a little bit. There you go, honey. Thanks. Okay. All right. So here we are. Where do I start? Whenever I start a painting or a drawing, with a painting, I normally start with charcoal as well. But, it's just the simple line, the simple. Remember I mentioned that gorgeous teardrop shape? That's what I'm keying into right now. Just this, I'm starting with this. I'm not starting with the eyes. Some people, I should say that, there are as many ways to start a painting or a drawing as there are human beings. Really, I tend to like to do it this way. This is not the way that everybody has to do it. This is the way that my brain processes the information the best. I'm simply sharing what works well for me. So let's get back here again. So I'm sorry about all the jiggling around here, folks. Okay, so here we go again. So yes, back to spin your head my way. There you go, hon. Great. Okay. So squinting down. When I do this, okay, so I tend to use straight lines instead of curves. This gives a little bit more strength to the form. Squinting down, jaw, so if this is the whole head, the bun of her hair is up in here. Now, I tend to find the next most obvious breakdown. That would be her hairline, which her forehead goes through here. Her hairline is up there. Notice how high that is. And then spin your face my way again, hon. A little bit more. Right there. Good. The model is going to adjust. They have no idea if their head is, here or here or there or there. It is our job to make sure they are in the exact position every time I look up there. And that means reminding them regularly, gently, with compassion and kindness, to say, this is, oh, sweetie, you moved again, or whatever it might be, So because, they've got no clue if they've moved a quarter inch. So continuing on, let's see. So I've broken it down. Here's the initial teardrop I started with. Here's the braid as it comes across the top of her head. It goes up into here, and then this cuts into there. And now I'm left with this shape. Where can I find the next obvious breakdown? Now I'm looking at this shape, the shape of her forehead. Again, even though this appears to be a very smooth curve, I am choosing to use a series of straight lines instead of curves. Again, if you look at all of Sargent's work or Bouguereau, the softest, most beautiful figures and forms are always made with a series of straight lines. I should mention also that I am squinting down with every decision, squinting down, simplifying the forms. So notice how far down the eyes are compared to the whole head. That's an easy miss. A lot of times when I'm teaching people, I find that they have a tendency, they want to put the eyes up in here someplace. Well, wow, when I look here to there and then break this down and then from this point to there, it's just a matter of the breaking it down into the simplest, most abstract shapes possible. Doing a super job, see them. Her nose too low. That's all right. Fix it. You know, if you find you've done an error, clean it off, get it straightened out as soon as you can. In the process, it helps everything to not have that error remain on your canvas or paper, so that it doesn't throw off your other decisions. Chin up just a touch, honey, right there. Thank you. Okay, so really, so it's always a battle when you're painting or drawing. When you're getting into the features, you have a tendency to kind of become myopic and miss the big picture. So as I am squinting at Sion, I am making sure that all the while I'm looking at these little parts, I'm also pulling back in my mind and physically stepping back a few feet to see how this all fits together. Whoopsie. So I'm going to simplify this down a little bit. Again, squinting way down. There is this razor sharp edge right through here. Whenever I am painting or drawing, it is important as early on in the process as possible to establish your extremes of value and of edge. So the darkest darks will be up through here, into here. This edge back here is softer. So why not, even right now, soften that out as I'm putting it in. Doing a great job, Sion. So squinting down, earlier on I mentioned that we have this really great contrast between sharp edge here and this soft melting forms as the eyeball and socket kind of melt into this shadow shape, and it just creates this really beautiful, chin up a little, honey, spin your head my way, right there. Good. Thank you. There's a sharp edge on the bottom of her nose. It's soft. Taking a measurement from this point to the eye, where does that fall? Again, this shape and this form, this is this gorgeous, soft transition. That's what I saw initially that really got me, that I found very beautiful. And this is kind of the message right through here for me. This gorgeous, soft transition compared to the sharpness outside here. And it doesn't have to be like I said, the message. It doesn't have to be a social statement. It doesn't have to be. I mean, it can be, but in this case, just the beauty of this edge, this soft transition compared to this edge. To me, that's enough. That's enough. And then I have to just trust that and then put that out there. I was given that for a reason. That sensation, that heart, my heartstrings were, moved at that point, and then I have to trust that, and then put that down. I guess what I'm trying to say is, in the years that I've been doing this, when I have been at shows or people have expressed to me how my work has moved them, thankfully over the years, those are the things that I hear. They respond in ways that confirm kind of what I just said, that there's a narrative. The overarching narrative is, here's a portrait of a beautiful young lady, yes, but within that we have all the other narrative of the line and the form, in this case not the color, but the edge and the rhythm and the juxtaposition of this angle to that angle, and how does it all work together, and how does it all of that will work to move someone's soul. It's certainly moving mine, and my job as a visual artist now is to capture that and put it out there. That's what we're doing here, folks. That's, I believe, why we've been given this gift. Not as a, certainly it's meditative, it's soothing and healing for our souls as well. But there's an aspect of just sharing, and this will live. These pieces that we all do will live well beyond our lives, and they will continue to touch people. And so how does that all work out? So I think that stuff's going through my mind all the while I am working on this stuff. So let me just take Sion, do you need a stretch? Yeah, just take a little stretch.
I think we all ought to give her some applause. She's doing a terrific job.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
She's a sweetie.
Sion, I can't get my own daughter to model for me, so your dad must be paying you a lot of money or something.
Well, we work together here, so
that's nice. Dan, we have people watching from Malaysia, from South Africa, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and of course all throughout the United States. So
thank you very much.
So far, no questions, but a lot of comments about how moved they are. So Bangalore.
Good.
All right. So
thank you, folks.
The world is watching, Dan. Excellent. You guys, I should tell you that Dan's going to be launching a new course, and you can find his information once it's out at his website, which is, let's see, I'm not seeing it here. Is it danielgerhartz.com?
That's correct. Yep. They will be able to find what they need there. So anyway, thank you for mentioning that, Eric. I am developing a series of 3. The first one to be released is on edges, and I'll be and then values, and then color temperature, and how to understand color temperature and how to use it. So all those 3, because as I've taught, it seems like there's, when we're beginning to learn, beginning to paint, there's so many balls to juggle, and you tend to drop most of them at the beginning. But I thought in isolating each aspect with a teaching course of its own, and then we can put it all together in the end. So that's kind of what the emphasis is, and
great idea.
I'm anxious to share that with you guys coming up.
So when is that coming?
That will be available in about 2 weeks. So keep your eyes open on our website, and you'll find what you need to know.
Okay.
So
And I have the website on the screen, so you guys. All right, Dan, I'm going to get off and let you.
Thank you. All righty. All right, Sam, you ready? I want to get this set up again so you can see her as well. There we go. Okay, good. Yeah, there we go. Okay, ready, Sam?
Hard to hold a pose like that, isn't it?
Yeah, she's doing a good job. All right, I think we're ready here. That's perfect, Sam. Excellent. Okay, bricks are great. They give me a chance to get back. Now I'm seeing the thing with a completely fresh eye. What's needs to be addressed at this point? Where am I? What's got to happen? One thing I want to do is kind of just reestablish the strength of just the simple teardrop that I talked about early on. Okay. Okay, get that. Too low. I did that again, second time in a row. It's all right. Fix it. You notice again, and notice an error. Get in there right away and just fix it. I am squinting all the while here. Simple, simple, simple. Keeping things as simply stated as I possibly can here. There's a shadow line on her jaw right here. But it so softly rolls. The fall of light on the light side of her face is creating the light side right here to be darker than what it is up here. But this is technically still in the light on this side. So what I'm gonna do, this all spins around. This is a sphere. Her face is a sphere right here, and then her jawline right here. Her cheekbone comes in through here, just ever so slightly. I have it in a little dark right there. We can lighten it up. Squinting down, doing a great job. Try to, when I'm working with models, engage them. It's important that they stay animated through the piece. It's easy to, engage them in dialogue and, but honestly, folks, there is nothing that beats working from life. I'm so grateful for the tutelage that I received. Certainly Richard Schmid was so kind and so generous in taking a number of us under his wing years and years ago. And his stressing the importance of working from life has stuck with me. There's no way to get the feeling, that you can from life. I do work from photographs, as a lot of people do. And what you just have, but I guess my point is work from life enough so that the spirit that you can build within that carries through into what you're doing with photographs. So, if I have to work from a photograph, I always do studies from life if I can. So, really important to mention. So squinting down again, okay, do I have the contrast of edge that I saw originally? I want to build that in. This is this razor sharp edge right here. Again, I mentioned it several times earlier, but I want, and when I say razor sharp, it has got to be razor sharp, not kind of sharp, but to get the real contrast from, it looks like you take a scissors and cut that out and paste it on another. That's the sharpness that you need to to achieve that sharp edge. So squinting down, sharp edge, soft transition. This just melts into here. The tone on her nose just kind of, again, this is a vaporously soft transition right through there. This is softer here. Sharper edge right down there. Absolutely. A+ there, Sion. Sion just strives to do well at whatever she does. It's just great to see her striving for the best. Squinting down. Simple shape here. There's a core shadow right here. Squinting down, how can these tones bleed and melt together here? A little strong. Boy, I'm used to having people ask me questions.
Well, I'll encourage everybody to ask some questions. Somebody said they thought the shadow under the nose might be too dark. What do you, what's your thinking behind it?
That's a good point. I appreciate the feedback. Here's what I would say, that, I don't know that it's necessarily too dark. The edges might be too sharp on it right now. I think that is a bigger problem because here's how I know that. Because when I squint down, the darkest darks are up in her hair, and really, I don't have this quite as dark as it. Now, it may show that on the camera, but this is slightly lighter than what this is. But, you have to start with, let me just show you what I mean by the edge work. Let me try to just soften this out a little bit. I'm just going to take a dry brush. And just by softening that might give me what I need more than value reduction at this point. Having said that, I am not above reproach. I make mistakes, do it all the time. As a matter of fact, it's interesting, even in teaching our kids, sometimes in teaching a child and they're reticent to take instruction or think that I'm criticizing them. I say to them, one of the analogies that I've tried to use over the years is, just because you made a mistake doesn't mean that's the end of the world. Do you know how many mistakes I make each day when I'm painting? Basically, at the beginning of a painting, we try our best to put the strokes in as accurately and cleanly as we can, but there's gonna be a lot of them in the wrong spot. So as you saw, I'm just adjusting things here continually as I go along. And anyway, that was a little bit of a digression, but it softens out right through there.
Okay, there's a question that says, what makes Dan decide to do a drawing versus a painting? Does he do a sketch before each painting?
Good question. The reason I chose a drawing today is because I have 35 minutes. I will be doing a painting for the Realism Live, so you can see a start to finish product in there, and as well as my new teaching materials as well. You'll see start to finish with endless discussion and explanation as to what I'm thinking about all the while I go through it. What was the second part of the question, Eric? I'm sorry.
Why not just a painting? But you explained that.
Okay. Ready, ceiling? Keep the highlights to an absolute minimum.
Why?
Because the figures can take on a real waxy look. If you squint, again, it's all about what you're seeing in the squint. If you see it in the squint, then you have permission basically to put it down. If it dissolves into the background, or that highlight just basically goes away, you're not doing yourself a favor by putting it in otherwise. It's almost like you're just adding too much. It's like putting the shutters on the house before the foundation is done. And so.
Somebody asked if you do a sketch before every painting.
That was the other part I forgot. The answer is not necessarily. I do when I have a very complicated light situation. Sometimes when I'm developing a piece from studies, or having to kind of transpose the whole scene, then I'll do a color study. I won't necessarily do drawings of what I'm seeing, but I will do a color study just to organize my thinking. And
can you move the camera just a touch so we can see Simone? There we go.
There we go. Okay. Yeah. So what I'm doing, I'm continuing to develop the tones here. There's obviously a lot that has to be done yet, but getting started. Really what I'm thinking about now is her skull. If you were to just envision an egg up here, the lightest light is hitting right here, and all the rest of this light is just wrapping around. So all of this has got to be knocked. None of the values back here are as light as it is right through here. So, basically what I need to do is continue to build and roll these forms so that I create that spherical quality. Very lightly, just touching the surface. Again, all of this, just when I squinted down just now, all of this melts into these darker tones here. There's a value that comes through right here that creates that form.
If you do a sketch from before you're painting, you paint right over the sketch?
Yes, if I'm using, I use Vine charcoal when I'm developing a painting, when I'm drawing in a painting. And again, this will be evident on the Realism Live and certainly in my materials. Yeah, so I start with a piece of Vine charcoal, and then build with that, and then paint right on top of that. I've done a lot of studying of other artist techniques, and basically why I started doing that is because as I mentioned about the juggling the balls, there's a lot of things to think about right at the beginning. And if I can get the drawing down to where it needs to be early on, then I can place my darks. Then I can worry about edges and values. And certainly you're thinking about placement and drawing with every brushstroke, really. But by and large, a lot of it is solved already, and I don't have to. Then I can spend a little bit more energy on value control and edge control, which are also really key items. One of the biggest questions I get asked by people is, how do you capture light in your paintings? Dan, I love the way that you've captured light. How do you do it? Again, isolating these in the series that I'm developing, I'm showing you through edges and through values how important it is to get those right, and then showing you exactly what I mean by that. There's a specific way to look at the subject in the deep squint that really helps and enables you to get an accurate read on things right off the bat. And if you don't kind of get that right, it can kind of hamstring you right from the start.
Do you paint right over your charcoal is a question?
I do, yeah. And again, vine charcoal, you can't use a charcoal pencil or compressed charcoal, because compressed charcoal will kind of bleed through the paint, but vine charcoal seems to almost melt underneath the paint.
So you don't have to spray it or anything.
No, I don't spray it. I just paint right on top of it. And what I do, so if I'm putting a line down and it's this, I don't have my drawing lines are like this line. They're very thin, light, and if they're too heavy, I'll even just kind of wipe them off a little bit with a rag, just so I have a faint guide, so that when I get back in there, I can cut them in when I place my darks with paint, so that they can be placed accurately, and I'm not chasing my drawing around for the rest of the day. So that's why I do it. It's not put a drawing down and then paint by number. That's not the idea. But the idea is to put it down so that when I mix, laying in my key darks, say I'm mixing these darks here in paint, now when I get the drawing, and then I should mention also on the drawing, you'll see on the other materials that it's not, I don't put tone on it, it's just line. So I can then come in with the paint and put my shadows in with paint and be assured that they're going to be in the right spot to start with. So that's kind of the idea.
Excellent. All right, you got about 6 or 7 minutes left.
Okay.
And we want to save some time so you can show us that beautiful studio.
Okie dokie.
Oh, you don't have to. No pressure.
No, I'm happy. Honestly, this is not going to get finished anyway, but you guys get a pretty good idea. So here's the deal. Sion is holding on well there. Thank you, hon. Again, I'm not going to finish this, but you get an idea. So what have I done here? Let me just talk to what's going on and what my thinking is. My thinking is developing, certainly at the beginning, start with the simple outline. The form of the skull, to me, getting the solid mass of the skull and in right from the start, so that doesn't throw me off later on, or appear to be caved in or missing or whatever. And then once I've got that down, then I begin to develop, painting. Same in painting, same in drawing. I am developing the extremes, sharpest edges, lightest lights, darkest darks, and in the painting, the strongest colors. Getting those on the canvas as soon as possible. What those will do will be benchmarks that I compare every other decision against. If I don't have those down, I'm kind of like floating at sea. I don't know quite where things are going. And sometimes what I'll even do on my paintings, I'll put a swatch of black and a swatch of white. I'll often have a tone canvas, black, white, so that I can just physically having the white and the black up on the canvas lets me it's a kind of a governor. So I now know here's this end, where does this value fall compared to that? Where's the lightest light compared to that? So I can then, all of this is a constant comparison from one thing to the next, one shape, one form, one value, one color. How does this compare to that? So that's really the key. Sion, can you give me about what do we have, about a minute here?
Yeah, you got another minute. And could you address the placement of the image in the canvas? Because I think that's so important, because you've got a really nice space of air there.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, you know, generally speaking, this is a piece of paper. If I were to frame this, I would probably frame it so that there's more space in front of her face rather than behind. Unless want to create some tension in the piece, then you might frame it the other way. It just kind of depends on what your preference is on that. Again, let's see another 30 seconds here, and we'll call it quits. Spin your head away. There you go, right there. Good. Hold your lips still, honey. Edges, this kind of bleeds out right here. I still have her chin too large.
Can we get a little tighter in on that drawing, please?
Certainly.
Thank you, sir.
You are welcome.
Oh yeah, that's so beautiful.
So yeah, it's got a long way to go, but it's getting there. And like I said, I have to just bring this in a little bit more again.
Your daughter is beautiful.
She is beautiful inside and out. All right, folks. Well, thank you very much for your time today. It was a privilege to work with all of you, and
Okay, Dan, can we see your studio?
I'd be happy to.
First off, let's go back to Simone, and we all want to give her thumbs up and applause.
Yeah, Sion.
Oh, Sion. I'm sorry, Sion. All right, Sion. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Bye.
she talks a lot, actually. Anyway, let's just give you the 30-second tour here. So where are we? Okay, so just thankfully I've been blessed to work in this space for many years, and I was built in '95, and so basically here's what we're talking about. It's north light. So we've got north windows up here, some fluorescent lights below it, and LEDs, so that when the light fades in the winter, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're out of light. And so I have to.
And how do you color balance that light so that you're getting the same temperature?
Making sure that I have full spectrum lights in. Color corrected. Most light manufacturers have what's called a CRI on the bulbs. Color rendering index. If that's in the mid 90s, then you're in pretty good shape. A lot of the LEDs are good as well, just in terms of basically if it says full spectrum, that's a good sign. So right. A high CRI number, full spectrum bulbs work.
Okay. All right. Well, terrific. Dan, thank you so much. This has been fabulous having you on today. We're all very impressed with this gift that you've been given to be able to do something so beautiful in such a short amount of time.
Eric, thank you for the opportunity. It's great to work with all of you, and I wish all of you the best, and stay well.
Thank you. I want to remind everyone that Dan's got a new course coming up, and you'll be able to find it at danielgerhartz.com. And just check it out. It'll be coming out in a couple of weeks, and we want to support him. We want to support all the artists in the world. This is a time we all need to be working together and helping one another, and that's what this show is about. So Dan, thank you.
Thank you for your generosity.
We will see you on Realism Live, and this has been terrific.